Listen to that silence. That emptiness that expands in the space between one heartbeat and the next. It isn't just the absence of sound, it's the echo of all the battles you avoided, of all the truths you silenced, of the version of yourself you sacrificed on the altar of other people's acceptance. That silence is more eloquent than all the words you didn't dare to say today, than all the no's you turned into yes out of cowardice, than all the boundaries you erased so others would feel comfortable invading your territory. Do you remember the last time someone looked at you with real respect? I don't mean that condescending look the strong give the weak. I'm not talking about the fake tolerance that hides pity. I'm talking about that visceral, almost animal respect that is only granted to a man who represents a force to be reckoned with. The kind of respect earned not with smiles, but with unbreakable integrity. That stab in your chest when you yield yet again, when you lower your head for the umpteenth time, when you act like the nice guy everyone expects, only to find yourself alone, in the dark, wondering why they toss you in the trash after you gave them everything. How long will you let your worth be determined by those who have no interest in seeing you win? You've been misdiagnosed your whole life. You think your problem is shyness, or lack of money, or not having the gift of gab. Those are superficial symptoms, distractions that keep you from seeing the real disease eating away at your potential. The real disease is called supplicant syndrome, and it's deadlier than you imagine. You beg for attention with your compliant silence. You beg for respect with your endless availability. You beg for love with your submission disguised as kindness. And you do it with that weak smile of someone hoping for leftovers from a table where others are feasting. You've completely externalized your value. You've handed it to her, who keeps you as a backup option. To your boss, who sees a submissive employee. To your friends, who tolerate you as long as you're useful. To a society that rewards male weakness because weak men are easy to control, to manipulate, to domesticate. Every time you swallowed an opinion out of fear of conflict, every time you accepted less than you deserved for fear of losing crumbs, every time you pretended to agree just to avoid standing out, you weren't being diplomatic. You were signing your manhood's death sentence with your own hand. You were building, brick by brick, the cell where you now rot in silence. But today something different is happening. Today you're listening to this voice. Today you're recognizing the bars of your own prison. And that single act of awareness, that moment of clarity in the fog of your conditioning, is the first monumental step to get out. It's the crack in the wall through which the light will begin to seep. They call me Aries. I'm not a guru selling magic fixes. I'm not an influencer with a perfect life, filters, and lies. I'm an engineer of masculine souls, an architect of identities, a forger of character. My laboratory is the psyche of the modern man, and my tools are truths that hurt, but set you free. This is not another self-help community where we pat each other on the back and repeat empty mantras. This is a training ground for men who have decided to stop begging for scraps and start building empires. For men who are tired of asking for permission and ready to claim the power that was always theirs. The question that defines your destiny is simple but devastating. Are you ready to look at your reflection and recognize the man who could exist behind the void? Do you have the courage to face the truth that your current life is the result of your concessions? Are you prepared to stop being the ghost who oils the chains of his own prison? We welcome you to this channel, where we leave desperate pleading behind and begin to master the art of genuine attraction. Where we transform your energy from emotional beggar into that of a man who chooses, not begs. Look closely at the average man in his natural habitat. His eyes seek approval in every female glance, his body leans forward as if pleading for attention, his words come out fast and nervous, trying to fill uncomfortable silences. He asks permission to exist, to take up space, to breathe. He is essentially invisible, a ghost in his own life. Now behold the man who has integrated the social architect manual. His posture is expansive yet relaxed, occupying the space that is his by right. His movements are deliberate, calculated, transmitting control and purpose. His speech is unhurried, every word has weight, every pause has meaning. He looks into eyes not seeking validation, but evaluating, analyzing, decoding. And women notice him immediately, because his energy shouts what others only whisper. I'm going to reveal 3 fundamental principles that will rewrite your social code from its foundations. They're not cheap tricks, they are laws of human dynamics that have existed since the first man and the first woman looked each other in the eyes. Principle 1, the frame of the unbreakable judge. You are the one who evaluates, who judges, who decides what and who deserves to enter your reality. Not the other way around. When you interact with a woman, you're not asking to enter her world, you're decoding whether she is worthy of yours. This simple mental shift, when genuinely internalized, completely alters your energy, your body language, your way of relating. You stop being a petitioner and become the gatekeeper of your own realm. Principle 2, the paradox of authentic abundance. It's not about pretending you have options, it's about developing the mindset that your value is so constant, so inherent to your being, that it's completely independent of her reaction or validation. When you internalize that you are the prize, that your attention is a gift, that your time is valuable, you stop projecting that desperate need that drives away high-value women. You become a man who chooses, not one who settles. Principle 3, the language of silent dominance. Your body speaks a language women instinctively understand. Your posture, straight back, shoulders relaxed back, chest slightly expanded, shouts confidence before you open your mouth. Your gaze, steady, calm, penetrating, communicates focus and determination. Your hands, gesturing from your center rather than nervously, transmit centeredness and control. Your voice, rising from the diaphragm, not the throat, resonates with an authority that's impossible to ignore. This isn't manipulation. It's the most honest communication of your real value. Most men, without realizing it, communicate weakness, insecurity, neediness. From today on, you will communicate power, purpose, and inner peace. In the next level, I'll show you how to apply these principles in real-life situations, the authentic first approach, the date that tests your character, the text messages that build genuine attraction. You'll learn the exact language patterns that generate unconscious attraction and immediate respect. But first, you must master these fundamentals until they become your second nature. Practice your posture right now. Straighten your back. Breathe deeply from the abdomen. Imagine you're a king on his own terrain, not an uncomfortable guest. This is how true transformation begins, not with tricks, but with a complete reconstruction of your presence in the world. The question is no longer whether these principles will work, the evidence lies in thousands of years of human dynamics. The real question, the one that will determine your destiny, is, are you willing to stop being the skittish deer and become the conscious hunter? Do you have the courage to trade the comfort of mediocrity for the power of authenticity? Now we arrive at the most crucial pillar, the foundation upon which everything else is built. While other men get distracted by superficial techniques, you will be building the inner fortress that makes you unstoppable. Imagine an imposing medieval castle, granite walls defying the assaults of time, drawbridges lowered only by your choice, soldiers on the battlements protecting what matters. That's how your mind must be, impenetrable to outside opinions, immune to external validation, unassailable against attempts at emotional manipulation. A fortress where your worth isn't negotiated, it's assumed. I'm going to give you 2 protocols which, if you apply them with discipline, will change your life so radically that in a month you won't recognize the man you used to be. Alpha Protocol, the dopamine cut from external validation. Every like you fish for on social media, every approving glance you try to catch in conversation, every message from a woman you obsessively check, those are hits of dopamine that have turned you into an addict. An addict to female validation, to social approval, to external recognition. The protocol is brutally simple yet transformative: total abstinence for 30 days. No actively seeking approval, no fishing for compliments, no obsessive message checking, no adjusting your behavior to please. For 1 month, your value will be determined exclusively by your own inner compass. You'll regain full control of your brain chemistry and, more importantly, of your self-respect. Beta Protocol, the fog wall of selective indifference. When you receive a criticism, a veiled insult, or an attempt at emotional manipulation, your response will be like fog. The words and the attacks pass through you without finding resistance, without a surface to strike. You don't argue, you don't defend yourself, you don't justify, you don't explain. You nod with understanding and continue on your way. I understand your point. That's an interesting perspective. And you keep moving. You strip the attacker of power by showing that their words cannot affect you, that their opinions do not define your reality. This is not being cold or insensitive, it's being strategically impenetrable. It's understanding the fundamental truth that your value is not determined by what others say or don't say, but by the coherence between your principles and your actions. It's recognizing that every time you react defensively, you're admitting the other person's opinion has power over you. Practice these protocols starting today. When a family member criticizes you, answer, "I understand your concern." When a friend subtly insults you, neutral look, no reaction. When a woman tries to manipulate you emotionally, absolute silence. You'll see how they immediately lose interest when they don't get the emotional reaction they seek. You'll become a black hole for toxicity, you absorb it without giving anything back. In the next level, I'll show you how to build iron discipline and relentless productivity that will make you the strategist of your own life. How to turn intentions into results, dreams into realities. But first, you must fortify your inner castle until it's impregnable. Because without this inner fortress, any external victory will be temporary and fragile. With this solid base, no external defeat, no rejection, no criticism will ever knock you down. True masculine strength isn't measured by how hard you can hit, but by how indestructible you are when you're hit. It's not about avoiding battles, but about being an unmovable fortress in the midst of them. Strength without direction is only noise without melody, wasted potential, energy without purpose. Welcome to the Strategist's Code, where we transform your latent power into tangible results. See your life as a multidimensional battlefield with 4 main fronts: the physical, your health and appearance; the financial, your wealth and stability; the social, your relationships and influence; and the intellectual, your knowledge and wisdom. Most men make the fatal mistake of fighting on one front while completely neglecting the others. You will learn the strategy to advance on all fronts simultaneously, creating a synergy where progress in one area accelerates progress in the others. First strategic law: existential leverage points. In each area of your life, identify the 2 to 3 activities that generate 80% of your results. For your body, fundamental strength training and nutritional control. For your finances, developing your primary skill and intelligent investing. For your social life, the quality of your inner circle and your capacity to build genuine connections. For your intellect, deliberate study and practical application. Focus obsessively on these leverage points. They're the force multipliers that will transform your life exponentially. Second strategic law, the weekly master plan. Every Sunday night, while the world gets distracted with empty entertainment, you sit down with your notebook and design your week with military precision. What exactly you'll train, what you'll learn deliberately, whom you'll connect with strategically, how much you'll earn precisely, how much you'll invest intelligently. Without a master plan, you're a ship adrift on the ocean of circumstances, vulnerable to any contrary wind, any random current. With a plan, you are the captain sailing toward your chosen destination. Third strategic law, the personal value metric. Every action, every decision, every hour invested must be evaluated with a simple yet profound question. Does this increase my value in at least one of the four fundamental areas? If an activity doesn't improve your health, doesn't increase your wealth, doesn't expand your wisdom, or doesn't strengthen your relationships, you eliminate it without mercy. Your time is the most valuable asset you possess. Stop wasting it on what doesn't bring you closer to the version of the man you're meant to be. Starting tomorrow at dawn, begin execution. Wake up at 6 a.m. while the world still sleeps. Train for 45 minutes with the intensity of a man building himself. Study your most valuable skill for 60 minutes as if your life depended on it. Work in 90-minute blocks of absolute focus, no distractions, no excuses. Record every win, every lesson, every metric in your strategy notebook. In the final video, I'll reveal the complete protocol that unifies all these pillars into a coherent operating system for the modern man. The definitive methodology to transform your potential into real power. But today, right now, take a blank sheet of paper. Write down your 4 most important leverage points. Design your first strategic weekly plan. Theory ends here, where excuses die and action is born. Ordinary men have vague wishes and blurry hopes. Men of the Legion have specific plans, and execute them with relentless precision. The difference between them is not talent, but strategy applied consistently. You've reached the final threshold, the moment of the oath that separates men from boys, architects from victims, masters from slaves. Look back with brutal honesty. That man who begged for validation in every interaction, who feared criticism as if it were a death sentence, who lived without direction or purpose, that limited version of you dies today. Not gradually, but in this instant of conscious decision. By joining the Aries Legion, you take a sacred oath that transcends the personal. First, you swear to be the tireless architect of your destiny, never again the passive victim of your circumstances. You will take full responsibility for every result, for every consequence, for every reality you experience. Second, you swear to value your higher purpose over momentary pleasure, your long-term vision over immediate gratification, your legacy over your comfort. Third, you swear to see in every other man of the Legion not a competitor to defeat, but a strategic ally in this silent war for masculine identity. His victory will be your victory, his growth will strengthen the collective. Understand this with crystal clarity. Your personal transformation is not just an act of individual development. It is a deeply subversive political act in a world that wants us docile, consumerist, submissive. Every man who recovers his inner power, who rebuilds his identity, who claims his sovereignty, weakens the control system that depends on our collective impotence. Your personal freedom becomes a revolutionary act. But I must be crystal clear, this is not for everyone. It's not for the man who seeks quick fixes. It's not for the one who wants results without effort. This is exclusively for the 1% who has the courage to look his reflection straight in the eyes and sculpt in it, with patience and discipline, the man he always knew he was destined to be. Subscribe right now. Turn on the notification bell. This message will not be repeated, this door will not remain open forever. It is your only chance to cross the threshold. The door of your old cell stands wide open. It always has. The chains you thought bound you were paper, the bars you saw were shadows cast by your conditioned mind. Taking the step to the other side, that depends solely on your courage to face freedom. On the other side lies the legacy you will build. On the other side lies the power that was always yours but that you handed to others. On the other side lies the authentic version of you that you sense in your moments of greatest clarity, that whispers in your boldest dreams, that waits patiently behind the veil of your fears. Take the step. Become a living legend. Assume your place among the men who decide their destiny. The legion awaits you, but the decision belongs only to you. Aries has spoken.